Welcome to Session 13. Independence is won. Now the hard part. Building a government that works, and deciding what kind of nation to become as Americans push west. By the end, you'll understand why the Articles of Confederation failed, the precedents Washington set, the forces driving expansion, and the painful human cost for Native Americans and enslaved people. Burned by royal tyranny, the founders made their first government deliberately weak. Under the Articles of Confederation, Congress could not tax citizens and could not regulate trade between states, and there was no president and no national courts. Then, in 1786, Shays' Rebellion, an armed uprising of indebted Massachusetts farmers, exposed the weakness completely. The national government had no army and no money to stop it. That crisis convinced leaders to write the Constitution. George Washington was unanimously elected the first president, and because he was first, almost everything he did became a precedent. He voluntarily stepped down after 2 terms, starting the 2-term tradition that lasted until the 22nd Amendment. He created the cabinet, relying on department heads like Jefferson and Hamilton as advisors, and he handed power peacefully to John Adams, proving presidents leave office without a fight. And in his farewell address, he warned against permanent foreign alliances and against political parties, advice the country promptly ignored. The new government split almost immediately over how much power the federal government should have. Alexander Hamilton wanted a strong central government, a national bank, and an economy built on industry and trade, and he leaned toward Britain. Thomas Jefferson wanted the opposite, stronger state governments, no national bank, and a nation of farmers, and he leaned toward France. This clash between central and state power created America's first political parties, and that tension runs through all of American history. Americans believed in manifest destiny, the idea that expansion across the continent was inevitable, God-given, and good. That belief drove a wave of land acquisitions. First, in 1803, Jefferson bought the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, doubling the size of the country, and sent Lewis and Clark to explore it. The War of 1812, a second clash with Britain, stirred American nationalism. Then, between 1845 and 48, the U.S. gained Texas, Oregon, and the Mexican Cession, including California, reaching nearly its modern shape. But expansion came at a terrible cost. Every new territory forced the explosive question: would it allow slavery? The Missouri Compromise of 1820 answered it for a while, admitting Missouri as a slave state and Maine as free, and drawing a line across the map. And for Native Americans, expansion was catastrophic. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 forced nations from the Southeast off their lands, even after the Supreme Court ruled in their favor. The forced marches became the Trail of Tears, where about 4,000 to 15,000 Cherokee died of cold, disease, and starvation, a tragic contradiction of the nation's democratic ideals. Let's test it. How did Shays' Rebellion most directly influence the creation of the Constitution? The answer is A. The rebellion showed the Articles left the national government too weak to keep order, convincing leaders that a stronger central government was needed. Because Congress had no army or money to respond, leaders like Madison and Washington concluded the Articles had to be replaced, not merely reformed, leading straight to the Constitutional Convention. Let's recap Session 13. The Articles of Confederation were too weak, and Shays' Rebellion forced the move to the Constitution. Washington set lasting precedents: 2 terms, the cabinet, and the peaceful transfer of power. The Hamilton versus Jefferson clash created the first political parties. The Louisiana Purchase and Manifest Destiny drove the nation west, but at a terrible cost, including the slavery question and the Trail of Tears.